Hello and welcome to the Daily Bulletin of Into Vietnam, exclusively on VITV. In today's programs, we look at the following stories. The Consumer Price Index inched up in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Non-performing loan ratio hits 3.79% by the end of 2013. And Vietnam consumer confidence is on the rise in the second half of last year. A program to celebrate the 45th anniversary of Vietnam-Sweden diplomatic ties opened in Hanoi on January the 21st. Addressing the opening ceremony, Swedish Ambassador to Vietnam Camilla Melenda affirmed Vietnam and Sweden are reliable partners in politics, economics, culture and education, bringing benefits to both nations. The two countries have identified economics and trade as a focus of their bilateral relations, with priorities having been given to health service, clean technology, information technology, and transport. Two-way trade exceeded $1 billion in 2013, and over 16 Swedish companies have set up representative offices in Vietnam. Ms. Lê Linh Lan, Deputy Director of the European Department under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, says Sweden is the first Western country to provide and maintain official development assistance to Vietnam. The Swedish government has so far supplied $3.4 billion in non-refundable aid to Vietnam. The January Consumer Price Index was reported to rise 0.7% in Hanoi and 0.4% in Ho Chi Minh City. The Hanoi's Municipal Statistics Office says the city's CPI in January increased by 0.7% on month and 6.78% on year, with 10 out of 11 goods baskets having their price rising. Prices of beverage and tobacco rose 1.29% and of transportation up 1.19%, while the telecommunication price stayed unchanged from the previous month. According to the municipal office, the local consumption power is improving, but there has been no significant changes in commodity prices. At the same time, Ho Chi Minh City Statistics Office revealed its CPI accelerated by 0.4% on month on low demand. This year, January CPI posted the lowest on-month increase in recent 5 years, reflecting falling purchase. This month price hikes in the southern city focused on baskets of traffic, housing and construction materials, garment footwear hat, other goods and services jumped higher than 0.5%. In related news, the Ministry of Finance has asked 19 local provinces and cities to strengthen implementation of measures to control inflation in 2014. These localities, including Hanoi, Da Nang and Bình Dương, posted higher consumer price index than the country's CPI increase in 2013. Accordingly, the Ministry of Finance required these 19 localities to seriously strengthen and strictly implement price stabilization during the Lunar New Year holiday, effectively apply law on prices, not allow to happen goods shortage, speculation and hoarding to make unreasonable price hikes. The ministry also asked locality to well direct information propagation, especially when there is a change in mechanism, policy or the price adjustments set by the state. The State Bank of Vietnam's office chief Lê Đức Thọ was quoted saying, as of December 31st, 2013, the non-performing loan ratio of the banking system in Vietnam was 3.79%, down nearly 1% compared to the beginning of the year. The chief officer also says the VMC bought approximately 40 trillion dong from banks, while banks themselves have taken active roles in restructuring their own debts. In 2014, the State Bank of Vietnam will continue to handle non-performing loans faster to bring the ratio of the whole system down an appropriate level. Besides, the SBV will also implement measures to prevent bad debts arising in the future, as well as not allow debt restructuring and other measures to conceal bad debts or distort credit quality. According According to the World Gold Council, Vietnam were estimated to have consumed total of 110 tons of gold in 2013. The council estimated 70 tons of gold were officially imported and the balance of 40 tons were unofficially imported from neighboring countries. The unofficially imported gold mainly was provided for domestic jewelry market. This type of gold is mostly raw one, being used to make rings and other jewelries. Vietnam's gold consumption was higher in 2013 versus years back, although global gold prices had been continuously dropping and the number of domestic gold shops had been cut down. Currently, people mostly buy gold, not sell. The Ministry of Planning and Investment National Center for Socioeconomic Information and Forecasting conducted a survey looking at consumer sentiment in the second half of 2013, which saw a marked increase in consumer confidence throughout the country.
It reported 41.7% of consumers in the last 6 months of 2013 described the economic situation as good, compared to 3% that rated the economy as good in the first 6 months of 2013. 39.4% of respondents described the economic situation as bad, down from 54%. 65.9% reported that their employment was more stable in the second half of the year, as compared to 52.4% in the first half. 31% reported that employment was unstable, a reduction from the previous 44.2%. According to the government's analysis, the result shows that the economy has been showing very positive changes. It also shows that Hanoi's economy in general and households' employment and incomes in particular have been improving. Households and individual spending are increasing, meaning that the city's consumption is growing. However, there are still areas of concern within the economy. While the prices of water, electricity, gas, and petrol have all seen their prices increase, salaries have remained flat.
In a bid to have the traffic industry meet international quality standards, the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers of VITV and the Vietnam Cleaner Production Center launched a project worth $3.2 million on establishing a sustainable traffic supply chain by 2020. Over 48 months, Vietnam will establish a motor farm and training center and start develop a legal framework to clarify the origin of traffic products. The project aims to have at least 70% of processor and 30% of animal feed producers to participate in a cleaner production program. The goal is set for at least 50% of target businesses to provide traffic that meet the standards of the Aquaculture Stewardship Council, which are highly regarded in international markets. Vietnam currently provides over 90% of the world's supply of traffic. In 2013, traffic export bring in $1.8 billion, which is forecast to reach $3 billion by 2020. Major markets for Vietnamese traffic export are the European Union, the United States, and Japan. There are only a few days left before the Lunar New Year in Vietnam. In the capital city of Hanoi, goods supply for Tết are plentiful and prices have started rising. However, according to many businesses, the purchasing power of the market has not recovered. It forces enterprises to keep production pace and at the same time to prepare backup plans for Tết goods consumption, reducing inventory level in the last days of the year.
In the recent days, people's shopping demand has been increasing. According to Hanoi's Industry and Trade Department, 13 companies participating in the price stabilization program have guaranteed their reserve of commodities corresponding to 318 billion Vietnam dong capital the city provided in advance. At the same time, these companies pledge the prices of goods under the price stabilization program are 5 to 10% lower than the market's prices. In fact, citizens' consumption of sugar and processed foods is rising in the Lunar New Year holiday. Therefore, the firms have actively reserved twice of the amount of stabilized goods required, meeting 30% of the demand for 7 kinds of essential commodities. Although most businesses have prepared relatively sufficiently for the holiday, but many still worry about the purchasing power of the market.
Giờ phút này thì chúng tôi đã tiêu thụ được hơn 60% sản phẩm đưa ra thị trường rồi. Dù rằng hiện giờ thì tất cả các doanh nghiệp khác đều rất là khó khăn đưa ra thị trường, mà người tiêu dùng năm nay cũng đến bây giờ vẫn rất là dè chừng trong vấn đề mua bán. Nhưng mà chúng tôi tin rằng là đến trong những ngày sắp tới này nữa thì sản phẩm mứt thì sẽ bắt đầu bán chạy, và chúng tôi đã có sự dự trữ tất cả các nguồn nguyên liệu và sản phẩm đang sản xuất sẵn ở trong kho.
Hanoi Confectionery Joint Stock Committee said to have abundant sources for the New Year holiday, it has produced more than 350 tons of all kinds of jam and about 60 tons of cookies. Watching consumption volume in the markets these days, the committee will increase its yield by 5 to 7%. And to avoid inventory, the committee has launched several measures to boost sales.
Tôi cũng đánh giá là cái sản phẩm bán ra năm nay là thực sự là một khó khăn, vì người dân rất là gặp nhiều khó khăn và kinh tế thì chưa được phục hồi, cho nên là với những cái nguyên liệu của chúng tôi là củ quả thì chúng năm nay đã tăng giá lên, nhưng mà tất cả những sản phẩm của chúng tôi là gần như là không thay đổi về giá, vẫn giữ nguyên giá như năm 2013.
With goods volume increasing by more than 30% compared to last year, for example, 3.2 million liters of wine of all types, the Thăng Long Wine Joint Stock Committee has also been preparing plans to boost sales during the holiday with a commitment not to raise prices.
Năm nay với một cái tình hình khó khăn chung của kinh tế thế giới cũng như là kinh tế trong nước, thì để chuẩn bị cho những cái việc này, bang Thăng Long đã phải kiểm soát toàn bộ các cái chi phí đầu vào để tiết giảm chi phí, nhằm có một cái giá thành hợp lý nhất và đưa một cái giá bán có một cái sức cạnh tranh đối với sản phẩm trong nước cũng như là đối với sản phẩm nước ngoài nhập vào. Bang Thăng Long đã phải xây dựng một chính sách giá bán, có những cái chính sách ưu đãi, khuyến mại rất là thích hợp để khuyến khích thúc đẩy người tiêu dùng.
Vũ Vinh Phú, president of the Hanoi Supermarkets Association, said prices have not risen sharply this year, only around 5 to 10% due to weak purchasing power. Many small and medium-sized shops and supermarkets have experienced a decline in sales against the previous year. Fu said currently prices of 90% of the commodities are decided by the market. Therefore, despite the state has stabilization policy, it is still difficult to stabilize prices.
Hiện nay mình đang bình ổn ở khâu bán lẻ. Anh sẽ tung tiền vào trang trại để nuôi lợn, trồng rau. Từ đó cái quỹ đó được đưa về siêu thị để bán hàng, đưa về nông thôn để phục vụ người ta. Không phải anh đưa cái tiền này cho đơn vị bán lẻ dự trữ hàng hóa và không có hiệu quả cao.
According to the Municipal Department of Industry and Trade, the prices of some essential commodities are expected to rise slightly in the last days of the year. On these days, suppliers will perform some deep discounts on essential items such as eggs, pork, and cattle. As for confectionery items, manufacturing output has increased by 20 to 30%, and most businesses keep prices stable.
And last but not least, it's today's update on local gold prices, forex, and securities markets. Well, that's all for this edition of Into Vietnam. Thank you so much for your time with us. We'll see you soon and goodbye for now.